How's it going, guys? My name's Wilson. A couple recent lottery picks who's underachieved, underperformed, and didn't live up to the hype already out the NBA. Simply, the league moves on once a player is given multiple opportunities and doesn't perform to standards. Every year, there's always going to be hungry players looking to make a roster spot. Some of the former lottery picks already out the league as of mid-September of 2021. Dragon Bender, the 4th pick of the 2016 draft. Don Maker, the 10th pick of the 2016 class. The 2015 class, Mario Hezonja, Emmanuel Mudiay, even the most recent in the 2018 class, Jerome Robinson. With that said, let's take a look at 10 disappointing NBA lottery picks who have one last chance to save their careers for the 2021-22 season. These guys simply need to perform if they want to extend their NBA careers after 2022. Starting with Otto Porter Jr., the 3rd pick in the 2013 class, who had a solid stretch with the Wizards, especially in 2017 and 18, but the last couple seasons can't seem to stay healthy. The 28-year-old played a combined 42 games each of the last 2 seasons. Took a while for him to get picked up and will have a chance to fill in the Harrison Barnes type role for Dub Nation. After Washington realized they paid him too much, traded him to the Bulls, didn't help much, played just 3 games with Orlando. One of the players we truly don't know what to expect. If Porter Jr. can find his 2017-19 stroke and hit over 40% from deep, he'd be even a better fit than Harrison Barnes previously for Golden State, especially for just $2.4 million. Could turn out to be one of the best bargains, a season that could earn him a multi-year deal or be out the league if he doesn't produce. Porter Jr.'s already made over $125 million for his career, has some nice moments, but overall a disappointment being the 3rd pick. Perhaps Porter Jr. knows exactly what he's doing, taking massive money from the Bulls and Wizards, then to join a better team that complements his play style to take a pay cut. By far the most optimistic player on this list for 2022, looking to make more noise in his career instead of being most remembered as a Will Chamberlain lookalike. Michael Carter-Williams, 11th pick 2013 class, the most forgotten Rookie of the Year winner since Tariq Evans. MCW's been clinging to the league for a few years now and somewhat rejuvenated himself. The 29-year-old entering year 9, looking to reach double-digit seasons in the National Basketball Association. After heavily underperforming with the Hornets in the 2018 season, a nightmare 4.6 points average on 33% shooting, many believed Carter-Williams was going to be out the NBA for good until the Rockets decided to pick him up, then traded him for a 2nd-round pick to the Bulls. Waived after, was out the league for 2 months in 2019 until the Magic gave MCW 2 10-day contracts in March of 2019, showed toughness in the playoffs, and averaged over 18 minutes of playing time, earned him the minimum for 2020, went on to average 7.2 points, the most since he was 24 years old. His production trended upwards instead of backwards, 45 games off the bench. In November of 2020, signed a 2-year deal worth $6 million, went on to average nearly 9 points over 4 and 4 for 2021, started 25 of 31 games, 26 minutes played, injury prone, missed at least 3/3 of a full season in 6 of his 8 years, brought in energy and solid on D, will miss the start of the 22 season. If he can suit up and continue to perform like his previous 2 seasons, Carter-Williams' NBA career should remain safe and play on, but if he's not available and Orlando don't resign him, many teams will have their doubts. Ben McLemore, the 7th pick 2013 class, just like MCW, McLemore's career looked to be over. After just 19 games in 2019, averaged under 4 points for the Kings, but of course it's the Houston Rockets who took a chance and signed him as Morey tried to find pieces to surround Harden. McLemore balled out, put up over 10 points, over 44% shooting and 40 from 3, proved vital, but not good on D. Harden somewhat resurrected McLemore, who didn't play well for Houston after Harden demanded out, didn't get the same open looks, fell from 44% shooting to just under 36% from the field. 32 games with the awful 2021 Rockets, averaged just 7.4 points, not a guy who can put up crazy scoring numbers on a bad team. Houston just decided to waive him, picked up by the Lakers, looked like a steal, averaged 8 points for purple and gold, still didn't shoot it too well, 39% from the field, a non-factor in the playoffs. Recently signed a 1-year deal worth $2.4 million with Portland. Blazers fans not too optimistic, will look to fill in the Melo type role. The 28-year-old needs to have a stellar season and knock down open shots if he wants another year or 2 in the league. Jabari Parker, former 2nd overall pick 2014 class, extremely disappointing career, once considered the best high school player since LeBron, with superstar potential. 2 ACL injuries first 3 seasons hurt his growth, once considered the franchise guy for the Bucks. If this was 2014 and we were to predict the best players for 2021, Parker's name would likely be mentioned in the top 10 by many, but sadly not even top 100. Year 3 with the Bucks averaged over 20 points, 6 boards, 51 games before the ACL tear. The franchise let him walk in free agency, then played for the Bulls, Wizards, Hawks, Kings, and Celtics, 6 different teams in 4 seasons, passed around more times than Trevor Ariza the last 2 years, a nightmare situation with the Bulls with defensive-minded coach Jim Boylan. At that point, Parker was seen as just an isolation scorer, not a great fit for many teams, lacked defense, limited with the Hawks, plus shoulder injury, played 9 total games with the Kings, banged up and cut by Sacramento, out the league for 5 weeks until Boston signed him for 2 years, $2.7, produced a little bit in the postseason due to other players getting hurt. Parker already lost tons of athleticism due to injuries, not worth playing on teams that's young and developing. His best role appears to be a bench guy on a playoff team just to get buckets. The 26-year-old simply needs to stay healthy and make some sort of positive impact, commit to playing defense while missing nearly half the amount of possible games in his career and coming into the league at the wrong time when threes and outside shooting became more vital. Parker's style the opposite, nevertheless an underwhelming 2nd overall pick. Stanley Johnson of the Chicago Bulls, a pick of the 2015 class, signed for 1 year, $2 million. Johnson likely won't get too much playing time with the good wings of DeRozan and Levine. Some nights won't get more than 10 minutes a game. The 25-year-old hasn't been relevant since talking smack to LeBron in the 2016 playoffs. Last 2 seasons with Toronto, averaged 2.2 points in 2020 on 37% shooting, then 4.4 points on 38% shooting, while playing over 16 minutes a game. If a franchise like the Raptors can't help Johnson improve, many thought he'd be out the league for good. Hasn't improved and regressed since his Detroit days. The 25-year-old has not made a leap offensively, and his defense simply does not compensate enough for his lack of offense. If he can't knock down open jumpers, I highly doubt he will be in the league after 2022. Kris Dunn of the Memphis Grizzlies, after signing a 2-year deal worth $10 million in 2020. The former 5th pick in the 2016 class, hampered by injuries. Aside from his rookie season, Dunn missed at least 30 games each of the last 4 years. Just 4 games played with Atlanta 2021, showing tons of potential with the Bulls. Averages 2.3 career steals per 36. One of the best defensive guards when healthy, hasn't gotten the opportunity to unleash his full potential. Not a good shooter, barely a threat offensively. 2nd season, put up over 13 points, 6 dimes, 2 steals, a couple defensive player of the year votes, even while missing half the season. 2022 will be considered a make or break year for Dunn. Needs to show he can be a true backup. If healthy, Dunn can become one of the most slept on players before many realizes his presence. But the question is, can Kris Dunn stay healthy? Marquese Chriss, the 8th pick 2016 class, a career 8-5 guy, a solid 2020 season with Golden State, average over 9-6, very athletic power forward, still only 24, had a bad break, broke his right leg before 2021. The early part of his career underwhelming in Phoenix, didn't work out with Houston or Cleveland, was nearly out the league after 2019. At that point, Chriss more known for his altercations with other players than real basketball production. Before the Dubs took a chance on him, even waived January of 2020, Golden State gave him another shot. Chriss signed by Portland for the 21-22 season. If he can pick up where he left off in the 2020 season, use his athleticism and improve defense for the Blazers, he'll get a multi-year contract deal. But if he shows the 2018 and 19 Marquese Chriss where he was at his worst, there's a slight chance Chriss can be out the league after 2022. Frank Ntilikina, his tenure with the New York Knicks has been an absolute travesty. Former 8th pick 2017 class, the unknown prospect from France, first 4 seasons, 5.5 point average, under 3 assists, 36% shooting, inconsistent minutes, very passive offensively, clearly lacks confidence in his game after showing glimpses of promise his rookie season, the defensive intangibles, but way too hesitant to shoot. Given the Knicks' regular season success for 2021, Ntilikina spent most of his time on the bench, wasn't much of a factor, even with New York having defensive-minded head coach Tibbs, barely gave Frank a chance. One of the worst jump jump shooters for a point guard. New York should have traded Frank a while back. Now the 23-year-old on his way to Dallas with head coach Jason Kidd, also a defensive specialist, a former player himself. Frank will need to step up and show he has the confidence to play consistent minutes with the Mavs. Viewing him as a high risk, high reward, his chances to remain in the NBA after 2022 appears to have 50-50 odds depending who you ask. Dennis Smith Jr., picked right after Ntilikina, 2017 draft, started his career with the Mavs, put up solid numbers as a rookie, averaged over 15 points, 5 assists, but not a good shooter, under 40% from the field, didn't elevate his teammates, regressed it every season since. After the arrival of Luka Doncic, the Mavs quickly figure out who the franchise player was. Smith Jr. simply didn't fit. Despite being a great athlete, Jalen Brunson a better fit on the floor with Luka. The Mavs realized there was no use for Smith, became a piece for the Porzingis trade, finished year 2 with the Knicks, had some good games, but mixed feelings from Knicks fans, didn't give him any patience. Every time Smith Jr. had a bad game, Knicks fans at the Garden didn't just boo him, but did this. When Smith brought up the ball, oftentimes Knicks fans wanted Frank to play instead. 2020, a disaster, 34 games with New York, averaged 5.5 points, 34% from the field, the lack of shooting, subpar decision making, not having good handles, and all the liabilities outside of being an explosive athlete continue to show. Played 20 games in 2021 for the awful Pistons, only averaged 7.3 points, signed with the Blazers to attend training camp, perhaps the most important moment that will either break or make his NBA career. Smith Jr. simply more known being a great athlete than a basketball player with NBA level skills, still at the height of his athleticism at his age, but once that explosiveness declines, very difficult for Smith Jr. to remain in the league much longer unless he works on all his weaknesses. Kevin Knox absolutely hasn't produced for New York. The franchise appeared to have already given up on him, from averaging nearly 13 points as a rookie on a bad team, jacking up bad shots, to deep on the bench under 4 points, never shot above 40% each of his first 3 seasons. The former 9th pick in the 2018 class might very well be the second lottery player from that draft to be out the league after Jerome Robinson. Many non-Knicks fans likely have no idea Knox still on the team. With the franchise's culture changing and Knox not part of the production, the 22-year-old's lack of confidence, similar to Ntilikina, with the franchise, all the struggles combined with the bad defense didn't fix his flaws. His advanced stats a nightmare, ranked dead last among small forwards in real plus minus his second season. Combined with the Marcus Morris and Julius Randles at the forward position, New York even played Marcus Morris heavy minutes over Knox, knowing that he wasn't going to be on the team for long. And with the emergence of Julius Randle, Knox's role very uncertain. The one thing he's decent at, knocking down threes, not good in everything else, but given his size should do much more. For 2022, Tibbs likely rather play 36-year-old Taj Gibson every minute possible before even thinking about Knox. While the names who went after Knox for his class, the Mikal Bridges, Shai Gilgeous-Alexanders, Miles Bridges, and Michael Porter Jr.'s all driving, given Tibbs' coaching style, more than likely Knox will play his final season in 2022 with the Knicks. The real question is, will Knox make improvement to hang on to an NBA roster spot or already be out the league after his rookie deal? As I was just about to upload this video, Jahlil Okafor just got signed a non-guaranteed contract with the Atlanta Hawks, who's been clinging to a spot for a couple years now, a borderline player. After Brooklyn waived him, I thought Okafor was going to be out the league for 2022, but Atlanta gave him another opportunity to prove himself. The 25-year-old simply needs to have a productive season. Which one of these guys do you think will be out the league after 2022? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this video. I talk NBA comparisons, current NBA history, and anything basketball that will interest you. So if you're a big NBA fan, hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much again for watching. I love all of you. See you next time.